Hello and welcome to Money Control. This is Dustin Yard and you are watching Crick It with Ayaz. We have with us one of the country's top cricket experts joining us once again on the show, Ayaz Memon. Hi and welcome back to the show, Ayaz.
Thanks, Dustin. Thanks.
Well, Ayaz, at the start of the World Cup when we asked you your top 4 predictions, as things have panned out, you've got them spot on. Let me try and pry out one more prediction from you. Come July 14th, which two teams do you think will be challenging for the cup in the final?
Well, that's a very difficult question to answer at this point in time because when you're in the league phase, you still have a cushion. There's some margin for error. You could lose a match and then recover ground. But in a playoff, if you don't play well on that particular day, you're out of the tournament. So you could have some bad luck. Somebody picks up a great catch, or there's a superb run out, or whatever. So even the best team could, it could just go topsy-turvy for the best team. But I think just going by the form book so far, I think New Zealand seemed to be the weakest of the 4 teams. Australia, England, India, there's very little to differentiate between the top 3 teams. This is on paper. New Zealand's bowling attack is very good. It's the batting which looks really weak, and they depend very heavily on Kane Williamson. So I think that whoever plays New Zealand, and which means that India have to beat Sri Lanka on Saturday, and South Africa have to beat Australia, which I don't know how it's going to be possible. But if that happens, and then you play New Zealand, I can say that yes, India will be in the final on the 14th, or should be there. But as things appear now, we might be going to Edgbaston, where England have parked themselves and have been winning match after match. And there's also the psychological obstacle to overcome if you're playing England at Edgbaston, because you lost the last time. So not easy, but 4 teams, anybody could win.
Well, moving on to Saturday's game, Sri Lanka haven't inspired much confidence in the state of cricket with this World Cup campaign. How long before you think Sri Lanka is back there challenging the teams like Ranatunga's team which lifted the cup?
That's a very weighty question to answer. I think Sri Lankan cricket, much like South Africa is suffering because of Kolpak. They've lost a lot of players. Ultimately boils down to talent pool. And countries like South Africa, even the West Indies, these island countries which make up the West Indies, population is sparse, and the cricket playing population therefore is even lesser. So where Sri Lanka is concerned, I think they've had a huge number of problems over the past 5-6 years in their administration, in the cricket establishment, frequent changes of captains, many changes in the players, and allegations of corruption, etc., etc. It's not allowing the team to settle down. I think individually there's still a lot of brilliant talent in Sri Lanka, but collectively they're not being able to gel and form a team.
Well, speaking about that individual talent, Avishka Fernando has been a standout just at 21 years old. And Lasith Malinga, probably at the twilight of his career, again has been shining. What are the challenges you think India will face when they go up against Sri Lanka?
Well, both are challenges. Avishka Fernando, I'm a little surprised he didn't start playing from the very beginning. Much like Haris Sohail for Pakistan. These guys came and made a difference to the fortunes of their team. I think the biggest problem for Sri Lanka in the batting has been Angelo Matthews not getting enough runs, because he's their most seasoned player, perhaps their best batsman. Also at the top of the order, Pereira, Mendes, Kushal Mendes, not doing enough. So it was left actually to Avishka Fernando and then Lasith Malinga to rediscover his zest and form and wicket taking ability. Suddenly it looked like Sri Lanka might somehow make the cut. It's not going to happen, but I think full marks to Malinga for bowling the way he's done.
Well, as considering this is India's last group stage game before heading into the knockouts, do you think the team could consider experimenting with the squad a little bit?
It could be. Maybe there's a case to try out, say, somebody like a Ravindra Jadeja. He gives you a little batting depth. Also, you can try him out and see how he fares as a bowler, which means that either you rest somebody like a Shami, who went for a lot of runs in the previous match, and play a spinner. There's some argument that play Jadeja instead of Dinesh Karthik, which may actually shorten the batting a bit. So I mean, there are various possibilities. I think the Indian team management would want to ensure that it keeps the winning momentum going, and obviously you have a chance potentially of topping the pool and therefore playing New Zealand. So that cannot be discounted. So these are tough decisions to make, but I think they'll go by what they see of the pitch.
Well, for the first time against Bangladesh, Team India went with a three-pronged pace attack. What did you think about it, and do you think we should employ this again come the knockout stages?
I think they went with the three-pronged pace attack, having learnt a lesson from what England did to them. You know, it was the same ground, and England's fast bowlers restricted India. It's not easy. When you say fast bowlers, actually, if you look at the pattern that has emerged in the second innings, especially, or in the second half of every innings, these guys are not bowling quick. They're actually bowling cutters and slow deliveries, lots of variations coming into play because the pitch is dropping pace. And therefore, they become more effective than the slow bowlers or the spinners. I think that the choice was correct. I think Shami had an off day, so he went for a lot of runs. You must also give credit to the batsman for taking so many runs off him. I think Bangladesh were perhaps the luckiest team in the competition. They showed a lot of spunk in, they've chased 300, they've set up a score of 300. So it was a very good match to watch.
Especially with that fight back towards
Absolutely.
the end. Yes. Well, as a word about Hardik Pandya, last time you spoke about how you would like to see him at number 4, but he has also come into his own with his bowling ability, contributing with 10 overs. How important a cog is he in this Indian team?
He is a very vital member. In my opinion, if you have to pick the automatic choices for the playing 11 today, it would be Rohit, it would be Virat, and it would be Hardik Pandya. There would even be a question mark about MS Dhoni, given his current form, but not about Pandya. He's been a huge impact player. He's batted with a lot of flair, and and the timing, the way he's played the big shots, and he's played, I think, quite selflessly. But in fact, he's impressed me more as a bowler because when he went to England, everybody thought he'll maybe bowl 4, 5, 6 overs every match. But he's bowled in the last 2 matches 10 overs, not given away too many runs, and picked up wickets. So that's what you need from, he's becoming, I think, a highly skillful, very, a powerful all-rounder in the game today.
Well, lastly, a word on the controversy that has been following the team between Ravindra Jadeja and Sanjay Manjrekar, the spat they had on Twitter. What are your thoughts on it?
It was, I think, quite pointless. So, on Twitter, it's a free playing field for everybody. Sanjay Manjrekar has a point of view, he's put it across. I'm not saying Ravindra Jadeja shouldn't have a point of view. He should also put it across. But what Jadeja should do? Take a leaf out of Johnny Bairstow's book. Johnny Bairstow was, Michael Vaughan had uncomplimentary things to say about him. Johnny Bairstow got very upset and angry and went and smashed 200s.
Yeah,
back-to-back hundreds.
Yeah.
And England is where they are now because of Bairstow. So maybe he should wait for a chance and go and do something like what Bairstow has done, and then look at Sanjay and say, hey, now what do you have to say about me?
Well, thanks for sharing your views with us, As. Let's hope Jadeja gets an opportunity on Saturday to do just what you said.
Thank you.
Well, that brings us to the end of this segment of Crick It with Ayaz. For more news, views and other updates, stay tuned to Money Control.